Hi everybody, it's Marcy, and I'm here working on my Just Junk Journal for Julie's Just Junk Journal Challenge for 2021. And today I'm working on my flip-flop. And to make my flip-flop, I took this, it was an Arbor Day tree survey. This was the envelope that it came in, or part of it. I had cut it down to 12 inches by 8.5 inches. And somewhere, I've got a piece of paper here that shows me the dimensions. I don't want anything wider than about 5.5 inches wide to go in my journal. So I just made sure that I folded each side such that it would fit within those dimensions. And then I folded this side over, I'm not even sure, I think a couple of inches. Yeah, right at about 2 inches. Folded that over for my flip-flop. So when it's put together, that's what it looks like. Now, I'm not actually going to put my flip-flop together yet because I wanted to try a little bit of painting with coffee, and I watched a Cat Hand video, if any of you are familiar with her, where she was painting with coffee, and of course she's a much better artist than I am. I just kind of play around with stuff. And what she did is she made, when she was painting with coffee, she made 3 different coffee concoctions. I've only made 2. She made one that is 1 part coffee, 1 part water. So in my case, I used a teaspoon of instant coffee and a teaspoon of hot water. For the next one, which makes it a little lighter, she used 1 part of coffee to 2 parts of water. So in my case, 1 teaspoon of coffee, 2 teaspoons of water. And then she had a third one that was even lighter, that is just a little bit of one of the mixtures with more water to get her very lightest value. But she was also painting on white watercolor paper. My paper is already tea stained, so I didn't even bother making the very lightest value because I figured it wouldn't show up at all. Okay, I want to be sure I've got this correct. And all I'm going to do is on my flap side, we'll start with the lighter one just to see how it looks. The great thing about making a video is if it doesn't work at all, I delete the video and you all never know how much trouble I had. And all I'm going to do is very simply make a sort of a leafy vine. Going down my page. Okay, so on mine, and that was the thinner one. That was my 1 part coffee to 2 parts water. It'll, just like with watercolors, it'll take it a second to dry. But it does look like that will at least show up. So I know that much. Now I'm going to use my thicker one and just dab that in a bit. And I've got something beeping. Hang on just a second. Okay, that was just my Instant Pot turning off. Okay, so I'm going to take the thicker one now, and I'm just going to go through and draw in some little leaf shapes. Now, after all of this is done and has dried, I will be coming back and putting on some of my linen embroidered flowers. And I'm using the darker one for the outline of my leaves. Whoops, got a little thick there. Got a little heavy-handed with my brush. And then I probably will come back and fill them in with the lighter colored one. Now, the one thing that Kat said about the 1-to-1 mixture, which is the one I'm using now, and I'll know in just a moment, is that it dries to a kind of a glossy finish because the coffee in it is so thick. I don't need those quite as close together. Sorry, I don't normally do this kind of thing on camera, so... Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint leaves all the way down my vines, let it dry, and then I will come back and we'll see what we've got. Okay, my little leaves are dry now, and I don't see on here any of the shininess that Cat Hand was talking about, but I did put some, I just scribbled a little more because here I was just using a very small amount. So I just scribbled some out on here. And yes, the thicker you use, the darkest one at least, it will leave a little bit of a shiny or glossy finish to it. So, and I don't think that will make a difference. It's just something to be aware of if you should try something like this. So now I'm going to go back with the lighter one and see if I can... Obviously, I can fill it in, but can I maintain any of the darker that I put in? Okay, it looks like on that one a little better. Yeah, I think it's just all going to depend on how much So some of them I am and some of them I'm not. Like this one, I'll most certainly maintain some of the darker, and that's okay. That, for me, this journal is going to be all about trying some new and different things, just because we're limited on the type of things we can use. So I figure this is the perfect time to try some stuff out. So now I'm just going back and filling my leaves in a little bit. Like I said, this is not going to be anything spectacular. I figured on my first attempt with this coffee painting, probably the simpler kind of thing I tried to do, the less chance there would be of it just being total rubbish. Okay, almost done, guys, I promise. All right. So now I've got some little leaves there. And while that is drying, I'm going to take, I've got 2 pieces of paper sack. This is off the paper sack I used for my inside pockets. And I've cut them to 8.5 tall by 6 inches wide. And first I folded them in half, and then I folded them actually I put them on my scoreboard and scored them at 1/4 inch from the halfway mark. And watch Dearjuliejulie's videos on flip-flops, because she explains this much better than I'll be able to. I have to rewatch a video every time she has us make one of these because I can't keep it in my head. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to put my 2 pages together. So I'm just going to put glue down right down the center of my gutter. And I'm going to lay my second sheet right on top of my first. Okay. Then what I'm going to do, and Julie does one, I think, how does she do? I never can remember. Like I said, watch her video. The way I like to do it is, I actually like, when I flip this open, I actually like it better when my sheets stay the way they are. The way she does it, I think she puts her gutter on the front. Yeah, that's got to be the way she does it. And so that when you fold this over, all of this comes with it. I don't like doing mine that way, but it's strictly personal preference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold mine such that the gutter is on the back side. And then I'm going to, again, run glue up the center of my gutter. Wipe up that little bit that I got right on the back. And I'm going to put it right in the, put my entire thing right in the fold and close it down. Trying not to touch my leaves in case they're still not dry. Okay, so now when mine will be folded over like that, I'll open it up, and then I will have writing space here, 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 and there. So that's the basics of my flip-flop. Okay, that's dry now. I'm just going to burnish that down a little bit. Okay, so I've got my leaves on there. Now what I've also got is I took 1-inch strips of my one of my magazine pages, and I just made a little bit of paper lace that I'm going to put down along the edge just for a little decoration. Don't want to use those scissors to cut it off. So we'll use these. And I'll still need to trim a little bit, but that's okay. So yeah, and you can see from my paper lace is not exceptionally straight or anything like that, but that's okay. Or my paper ruffle. It's not lace, it's a paper ruffle. Okay, so I'm going to fold that out so I don't get glue on anything I don't want to. Run glue up my edge. Sorry, I'm turning this so it's a little easier for me to see. And just stick my magazine paper ruffle down on that. Again, I'm just going to use my bone folder to help be sure that it's burnished into the glue well. And I'll cut off this little bit of excess. And I want to add one other little element, which was the reason for the little vines. So I spent a good bit of time last night cutting out from my tablecloth linen. I went through and I cut out several of the little flowers. And I thought it might be kind of fun just to see what other colors I've got. I've got a lot of purple. I think we'll do this. We'll move that one there. We'll move the purple there, and then we'll put another purple up there. And then I will have little flowers on my coffee painted vine. I'm just going to glue these on with Fabri-Tac. And there we have it. That is my little flip-flop. I mean, I'm not doing anything super fancy this month. Like I said, I'm playing and having fun. It's going to be very eclectic. Uh, the magazine that I'm using is really kind of driving. Oh, I don't have them all in here. I cut out a bunch of words that I don't know. I think it's going to be fun. Remember, it's a flea market magazine, so it had lots of things like vintage and group similar items together, stuff like that that I think is just going to be fun for me to flip through this journal, sort of almost as a reminder on some things. So I've got, what do I have? I have actually the magazine thread, coffee painting, and so actually 4 little elements on there. And I think it's actually kind of cute. I'm actually kind of pleased with the way that coffee painting, like I said, I'm no artist. But I have fun doodling and stuff like that. So I think that looks cute. I like it. Okay, guys, that's it for now. Until next time, please be safe, stay healthy, happy crafting, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.